Wow, what a game. So England are through to the quarterfinals, beating Mexico 3-2, and I think we've got a lot to cover in that game. So for me, this was a proper performance. We've been calling out to see a lot more stability and basically a lot better performances. And I think England yesterday put in a properly professional performance. I was saying in the run up to the match to people that I think we need to make it to the first hydration break. Obviously, some of the pundits were saying the same thing. Let Mexico come at us for the first sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes, tire themselves out a bit more. We need to settle the game down, slow the tempo, and we did that. The defence looked a lot more solid yesterday than they did in every previous match. So the selections that Tuchel made were good. Wasn't sure going into it about Kwanzaa on the right. Also wasn't sure about Gordon starting, but Gordon yesterday was absolutely fantastic. He seems to have woken up a little bit since that performance against Congo. So yesterday was just as good, if not better. I can't fault a single one of them. Even the substitutes that came on, you could tell when Tuchel made the changes, he had a plan. Obviously, Dan Burn came on to basically head away everything that possibly could come into the box because Mexico were bombarding us at that point. Spence came on to give us some fresh legs at fullback. We went five at the back. Shored things up with John Stones, another one that got his head onto everything that came into the box. And it was just a really, really good performance. And after that, I'm feeling a lot more confident. I feel a lot more comfortable. I did wake up for the match, so I was a little bit blurry-eyed for the start, but I think all in all, it was well worth waking up for. So let's start off with the lineup then. I think Tuchel picked the players that he needed to pick. Like I say, I was a little bit sceptical of Kwanzaa at right back, but we didn't have a lot of other options apart from maybe playing Declan Rice there or bringing Stones in there. Obviously, Stones started off as a right back when he was young at Barnsley, but not sure if he's still got the legs for it, but definitely needed in that central position when he came on. Midfield, what you would expect, Rice, Anderson, Bellingham. And then attacking wise, like I say, I was a bit surprised with Gordon starting because Rashford's not been that bad for me. I know a lot of people have thought he's been awful, but for me, he's done all right. And it was nice to see Saka start. I think resting him and giving him minimal minutes through the group stage has definitely worked out for him. So he managed to play the majority of the game yesterday, which was good. Again, we started off, we did exactly what we needed to do. We knew the atmosphere was going to be hostile. Obviously, there's the altitude problems that we knew were going to cause us an issue, or thought were going to cause us an issue. We had the delayed start as well because of the thunderstorms. So I think it was important for us to come into this and settle it down early on. You could tell Mexico came into it with all the intentions of trying to hit us very hard, very early. Obviously, Declan Rice got a really early booking. I'm not sure on that one. Yeah, his foot were a little bit high, but also the Mexican player did lower his head down to the ball. So for me, that could have gone either way. But he got the early booking, managed to maintain that all the way through the game, which fair play to him, and managed to play 80 minutes, 90 minutes with a yellow card to his name. And then we just let Mexico have the ball. We defended really well. They had a couple of chances. Obviously, Pickford made a really, really good save. And then we settled down, we slowed the tempo. When we got the ball, it was nice passing triangles. It was slow build up, but still progressing forwards. We made it to that hydration break, which is where we needed to get to. Obviously, the Mexican fans make a lot of noise, but they can turn on their team quite quickly. And I think by that hydration break, you could tell there was a little bit of frustration from them, not taking the chances that they're creating. And then after the hydration break, we started to play football. We started to go forward a bit more often. Bellingham, absolutely unreal again. 2 goals in just over a minute. Brilliant football. And it gave us a good lead. It was a shame that we conceded pretty much, well, about 4 minutes after we scored the second, which put them back into the game going into half time, gave them a little bit of confidence. But it was a great finish. That Quinones, I apologise, obviously absolutely rifled one into the roof of the net. But fair play to Mexico. They're a really good side. There were moments where I feel like they were playing. They reminded me a bit like Paraguay when they played France, like using the dark arts, going down over every little thing, appealing to the referee for every tiny touch. I want handball for this. I want to foul for that. It did feel a little bit like that, like they were appealing for absolutely everything. And the referee, in my opinion, did a pretty good job of sort of calming things down. I don't think he gave anything that wasn't fair. Like I said, the yellow card for Rice could have gone either way. The red card that Kwanzaa got, at first I thought it was an amazing tackle from the angle that we were watching. I thought he'd got straight in there and got the ball, but then when you saw the replays, he got the ball, but he went over the ball, and when you stood to make contact with the opposition player's shins, it's only going one way. So I think yes, the red card was probably justified. If it had been the other way, I'd have been yelling for a red card. So both penalties, I think, were penalties. Obviously, Gordon went through and the keeper took him out. Not sure how that's any different to the one that Harry Kane didn't get, but, it is what it is. And then, whilst their penalty was soft, I have seen them given in other matches in the same tournament. So it's one of them. It's like, again, if it had been the other way around and somebody had been kicking Kane's foot, I would have been screaming at the TV for a penalty. So for me, the referee did a good job. Yeah, I think it was just a genuinely good all-round performance. The defenders were putting the bodies on. In fact, everybody were putting the bodies on the line. After it got pulled back to 3-2, there was sort of like last 15, 20 minutes. Obviously, Tuchel started to make the changes. He decided that we were going to take this and not take any silly risks by pushing for a fourth. And I think this is where Tuchel's knockout football masterclass sort of comes in, because he is definitely a knockout football expert, and he did exactly what England needed yesterday in that last 15, 20 minutes. The substitutes were all made with a proper intent. We went 5 at the back. We went a lot more defensive, but we didn't go defensive like some of the smaller nations do, where they just sit back, absorb pressure, and eventually break down. We got the right players in the right places. Dan Burn showed the reason he's in the team. Personally, would have taken Maguire instead, because he does the same job, and Maguire offers a bit of a goal threat going forward as well. But for the game yesterday, Burn coming on, Stones coming on, that gave you a bit more solidarity in the middle. We brought Spence on, and we went 5 at the back, and then it just sort of we absorbed the pressure. Everything that came in from Mexico went straight back out. We didn't have any counter attack, but at that point, I don't think we were looking to try and counter attack and get a fourth. I think we were basically saying, look, we're in front. Let's just see out these last 15, 20 minutes. And they did the job. It was a very professional performance, and I am very, very happy that I woke up for it. Now, on to Norway, which could be a different game altogether. I watched their game against Brazil. They look really good. I think one of the things that goes in our favour is obviously a lot of our team have played against or with Erling Haaland already, so obviously Premier League teams have learnt how to handle him, so hopefully some of that will rub off on us. He's not really done a great deal in his last couple of games that I've seen, but yet he still seems to pop up with goals, so we need to make sure that we're keeping an eye on him. He doesn't generally touch the ball a lot, but when he does, he's in the right place at the right time, and He did that, twice against Brazil. He did it in the previous game against Ivory Coast. So, yeah, it's one to watch. Obviously, Noosa is a very, very talented young winger. And then they bring Oscar Bob on to replace him. Give him half an hour. He's just as good. Obviously, there's Ødegaard that we know about. The goalkeeper yesterday was unreal against Brazil. So, we're really going to have to be at our best to win that one. But I'm looking at the sort of the bracket of the World Cup now, and I don't see a reason why we can't get to the final. Obviously, we've got Norway to play next, and then we'll have one of like Argentina, Egypt, Colombia, or Switzerland, which are all beatable. Obviously, I prefer not to play Argentina, but from what I've seen of them, they do look beatable. Cape Verde managed to score twice past them. No, not playing down Cape Verde's team at all, but if Cape Verde can score twice, why can't we? And then the other side of the bracket, you would expect probably France and Spain. Obviously, Spain are playing Portugal tonight. So, can we win? I hate to say it, but I think we've got a chance. I think the team that I fear the most at the minute is probably France. But again, when they played Paraguay, it didn't look fantastic. So I think a lot of the big nations have had games where they look unreal and then games where they look a little bit unsure. And I think a lot of that's down to the opposition that we've come up against. I think a lot of the smaller nations have surprised us. I was so impressed with Cape Verde. I mean, they came from behind to draw level with Argentina twice, and were very unlucky not to take it to penalties. To be fair, it were very, very late. Obviously, we know about Messi, so we'd have to watch him. But I don't see a team that, if we play like we played yesterday, I think we could pretty much beat anyone on his day. So, anyway, that's just a typical England fan getting carried away. We've got to a quarter final, and I'm already talking about us winning it. So, we'll not get carried away just yet. Let me know what you thought of the game. Did you stay up for it? Did you watch the highlights? What did you think of the performance? What did you think of the game management? Because I think Tuchel did exactly what we needed yesterday. Let me know in the comment section, and I'll catch you for the Norway review.